Welcome back to the channel, guys. We got a lot of stuff to talk about Scream 7. I've already did a trailer breakdown. I got a bunch of clues I already talked about, but watching that trailer, I came up with so much more stuff. So I'm going to be talking about spoilers for the trailer. There's also a couple new pictures I want to go over, and I really think the opening scene for the trailer isn't what you think it is. I'm going to talk about the timeline explained, because supposedly there's a time jump. Because this whole Sydney with her daughters, it just doesn't make sense when it comes to the timeline. I got a lot more theories about Stu, theories about that isn't about Stu, and I want to talk about this mental patient that everybody is talking about. So let's get started.
Of course I can, Dingus, because I just did. Core 4, up top.
No.
Down.
Get that away from me.
Please, for the love of God.
Don't.
So going over this trailer again, I've noticed a lot of stuff that I didn't notice before, and I'm kind of mad at myself. I really am. But this trailer really gives me a sense of closure. It gives me like past and present colliding together, and it feels very personal to Sydney, someone that wants to make her suffer. So this person absolutely hates Sydney, and I'll get into why I think that. So let's talk about the opening scene of the trailer. A lot of people think this is going to be the opening scene of the movie, but I honestly think this might be the ending of Scream 7 going into Scream 8. That is one very possibility, because we think this is the opening scene of the movie, but it's like, is it? Do we really know that? That's just what the rumor is. But this could be that cliffhanger at the very end. Like, it's not a post-credit scene, because we see Ghostface walking off. What if at the very end, just after the trailer cuts, he reveals his mask and it's Stu Massacre, and then boom, it cuts, and we're like, wait, that's the ending for Scream 7? I wouldn't be surprised. Like, throughout the movie, they sprinkle like all these hints that Stu is alive, but he's not in the movie until the very end, which is that scene of what we saw. Very possible. But also, what I want to talk about in this opening scene, if it is the opening scene of the movie, I think that boyfriend is a Ghostface killer. I really do. He's definitely a big red herring. In the trailer, we don't see how he dies, because when we see the ghost face behind the girl, you think that's most likely the killer, but that could be the boyfriend pranking the girl, and then he gets killed, or that's just the boyfriend as the ghost face killer. I think that's the ghost face killer, because I've heard rumors many times that we might get an unmasking ghost face really early in the movie, and that could be it. We're like, wait a second, he's the ghost face, and then he like disappears, and we don't know when he's gonna come back in the movie. That is something we've never seen before, and I kind of like that. Or it might be like part 6 with the opening scene where the Ghostface kills somebody and then they get killed by Ghostface, which I could see that happening also. I cannot wait to watch this whole scene, because I think there's a lot more to it, and it's like the tip of the iceberg with this scene. I really think this has either Stu doing it or Stu's sister. I'm leaning towards Stu's sister and her family doing it, getting the revenge for Stu. I mean, you gotta think about Leslie. Like, she lost her brother, she lost her son. Her parents, we never seen what happened. They sold the house, so they could have easily divorced. They could have easily just pieced out, where Leslie lost her entire family, and she is sick and tired of Sydney having her family living the life she wants to live, so she's getting her revenge. I could see that being the motive. So there's one thing I've not seen nobody talk about. It's the necklace that Tatum is wearing. You know, in every scene, she's wearing this necklace. So it's obviously not just, oh, I'm just going to wear this for today. It looks good in my outfit. This is something that's very, very personal. And she's not hiding it. It's out in the open. Just like what Sydney got from Derek, her boyfriend, in the second movie. Because she ends up wearing that in the third movie. So that's very sentimental to her. If you look very closely, you don't have to look that hard. But where have I seen this necklace before? In Scream 6. Gail. She's wearing the same exact necklace. So this, I think, she got from Gail. But why is this significant? I cannot figure it out. I don't see this being a coincidence, because she's wearing it in every scene. So this has something to do with Gail. I don't know if like after part 6, Gail gave it to Tatum. So that could also tells me that Gail and Sydney, their relationship is a lot closer than it has ever been. Because we see this one new picture that isn't in the trailer. Is Sydney sitting down doing an interview with Gail. Yeah, you don't see Gail in this picture, but I've heard that this is going to happen. I've heard that Gail and Sydney finally sit down, have that interview, and this is that picture right there. So this tells me that they are really close. They don't hate each other no more. It's just through everything they've gone through, it's like we respect each other. So now let's talk about the other daughters. What is going on with Sydney's other daughters? We know there's more than one child that she has. And also, like, when was Tatum born? Because it has to be around part 4. Because, like, I kind of did the math. We all know there's going to be a time jump, so to speak. Because we know it's going to be more than 2 years after part 6. The producer even said that. But we don't know how much more after that. So let's just say it's 2028. And Tatum is 17 years old. So that comes out to 2011, which is the same year Scream 4 came out. So now let's do a plus or minus 3 years. So that's 2008, 2014. So Tatum was either born before part 4 or just right after part 4. And the reason why we don't hear about it, because, like, why would Sydney put her daughter out there so Ghostface knows that she's alive? So I think she's trying to keep her a secret. But then now in Scream 7, it's kind of to the point where, like, you know what? I'm not hiding my daughter no more. She's going to be out there. But the question is, where is her other daughters? To be honest, I think they are with Mark Kincaid. Because we know Mark Kincaid, he's a real character. They really got together. So he's out there. There's no question about that. We know she has a new husband, Mark Evans. But Mark Kincaid, he's out there. He's a real character. He hasn't died. I think she had children with Mark Kincaid, and they're with him. It makes sense, like, protective-wise. But it's just very interesting that we're just getting that one daughter right now. It really is interesting. And this whole time jump, everyone's like, whoa, what's with this time jump? Guys, we've had time jumps all the time. Between the first and second movie was 1 year. Between the second and third movie was 2.5 years. Between the third and the fourth movie was 11 years. In the fourth to the fifth movie, another 11 years. So those are incredibly huge time jumps. I get that. And of course, 5 to 6, that's just a 1 year difference. So this one is going to be a couple years after part 6. All right, let's talk about this mental patient. We've heard a lot about this mental patient. We heard about this Craig Dane, the actor that's going to be playing Kyle. We know by this picture that was taken on set that is Fallbrook Psych Hospital. Now the question is this in Pine Grove, Indiana, or is this in Woodsboro? Because we know he escapes. Supposedly he goes to the coffee shop that Sid works at, but this guy doesn't talk. He's supposed to be like a non-speaking character. He's supposed to be a big, imposing guy. And of course, we hear that Gail supposedly runs him over. And I think in the trailer, this is what I see in the trailer. You know, we see Sydney looking at all the people taking pictures of her. But if you look in the background, you see like a body that's covered up in sheets. I think that's that mental patient that Gail runs over. And the reason why you don't see Gail with Sydney, because I think Gail's going to get arrested. And why do I say that? Because it's kind of like that Halloween H2O ending where they think Michael Myers is under that mask when Laurie Strode kills him. But it's not. It's just that ambulance person, which sends Laurie Strode to the psych hospital. I think they kill this person thinking it's a ghost face, but it turns out not to be a ghost face. It's more of a pawn of the main ghost face, just to kind of distract him for a moment. Almost like a diversion. So he can go after Tatum and get Tatum, because we know at some point in the trailer, Tatum gets taken. There's a possibility this guy could be Vince's father. You know, Leslie Mocker's son's Vince, her husband, because we know Vince, his last name is Schreider. So this guy, if you hear the last name Schreider anywhere in this movie, that tells you that that's Vince's father, which would be Stu's brother-in-law, so to speak. So this mental patient is getting a lot of attention. Obviously, I don't think it's Stu. Doesn't make sense. It's not gonna be like Stu's twin brother type bullshit. But a lot of people are saying it has something to do with Stu. I don't think Stu and his sister grew up in a psych patient. It just, none of that makes any fucking sense. But very interesting. So I want to go over the trailer. I know I did a breakdown, but there's a lot of interesting stuff in this trailer that I didn't notice before. I think this bar scene is going to get a lot of people dead in it. I think this bar scene, we're going to see the twins die. We're going to see her friend Celesta. I don't know what her character name is yet. I think she dies. I think that actor as a German, I think he dies. I think he's the one getting dragged away in the trailer. If you look closely in the background, you see a dead body back there. So I think this bar scene is going to be like a big fucking massacre. I really do. And that's where, because like the Ghostface comes out with a knife full of blood. And he wouldn't casually just come out if there's still people alive in the bar. So I think he literally like kills everybody in this bar scene. And then that's when you see Tatum like run into the office to hide herself from the Ghostface. And that's when she shoots the Ghostface. And she tries to shoot in the head, but it doesn't work. She gets taken. And and that's when you see Sydney like, "Where's my daughter?" So I think a lot of people die in this bar scene. At the very, very end of the trailer, right after Stu Macher's voice, you see just like a quick flash, and it looks like this is somewhere in the attic. Just by the way the beams are, the wood is, it's really hard to see, but there's blood on the mask, which is very interesting. So whoever's up in that attic is getting slashed the fuck up. Who is that? I don't know. But the only time I've seen blood on a Ghostface mask was part 6 at the very opening scene when he kills the girl in the alleyway and gets the blood on the mask. So that is right there very interesting. Also, in the very, very beginning, when the guy is standing outside Stu Macher's house with his hands up, if you look in the far right corner in that window, that was the same window where she was chased from Stu Macher in the first movie. We see in the attic like all the stuff that Stu Macher did, because we see like the Easter eggs of Stu Macher like planning the deaths of Casey, because we see him like, you know, her hung up. So I'm like, okay, that's like Stu's little hideout spot. So I kind of looked up there, and in the trailer, you zoom in closely, it looks like you don't see a face, but you can clearly tell that the curtains are being pulled to the side. Why? Because someone is watching them show up. So someone is up there, in my opinion. Is that Stu? Who else would it be? So the last thing I want to talk about is Scream 7. I really think it's going to mirror Scream 3. Because we know Scream 5 mirrored the first movie. Scream 6 mirrored the second movie. I think this is going to do a lot with the third movie. Why? Kevin Williamson did not get the chance to write Scream 3. He didn't get the chance to fill out his trilogy. I think this is what he's going to do. We all know that Stu was supposed to come back in the original script for Scream 3. They end up changing it for some few reasons, aka the Columbine shooting. I think Kevin wants to make his third movie, his trilogy. He wants to complete what he started. And we look in the third movie, they had the voice changer already. So like that's already talked about, and like we all know AI might have something to do with this, because like Dewey's voice we heard in the trailer, that has to be AI. Roman has to be AI. Or it's something like I talked about a long time ago that could still be true, was they find a found footage in Stu's house, like these people in the opening scene in the trailer, where it shows like the opening kill of the opening scene from the first movie when they killed Casey Becker. You can see Roman with the camera directing Stu and Billy, and then of course we could have like a fourth killer reveal, which could be Leslie Mocker, like the getaway, something like that. But in the third movie, the main thing I want to talk about is Roman. We find out he controlled Billy and Stu. So in 7, I can see Stu being the new Roman, where Stu is controlling Amber and Richie from part 5, and that gets revealed. So really, this video that I just did, it's a lot of questions, man. It's a lot of questions, a lot of debate. It is very interesting. This is something that the marketing for Scream 7 is very smart about, because they're putting this out there so we can all talk about it. And that is what I want to talk to you guys about, because clearly, I don't know what's going to happen. This is just me going over everything I could think of. Clues, Easter eggs, just putting it all together. And of course, I'm a Scream fan. This is the 7th movie. I'm not dumb. I get the pattern. So if Kevin Williamson is going along with that same pattern, I can kind of figure out a few things. But this is what I came up with. I want to know what you guys think about everything I just talked about, because clearly I could be absolutely wrong, but some of this stuff makes sense, and I wouldn't be surprised if I saw this stuff. All right, Section Monkeys, we have 3 months until the movie comes out. Until then, hope you have a good day.